Yo, this is Sunday, um, and I've got a pretty direct and to the point podcast. I've put together the three things that I want from the Democrats, assuming they get back in power. In fact, I will help them get back in power by voting for them and even knocking door to door if they pick this program up here that I'm fixing to ask for. You never can. Sometimes you can't get what you want unless you ask for it. Now, this is what I'm asking for from the Democrats, and this will make a real difference in the life of young Americans. And that's who I care about the most. Old farts like me, we've got we've had a good run. And I think it's time to focus on what the youth need. Now, I'm not saying that these three things are the only thing that the youth need, but I'm saying I would like to see it start on these three things. Um, and let's do these three, and they make a big difference, and then we can ask for more. But this is what I'd like to start with. And you may have a different three. And maybe as a country, we need to get together and say, we'll elect the Democrats if this is their program. And if you don't like this program, let's come up with another three. And I think there's something magic about three, something to focus on instead of trying to focus on everything. So I would like, you to write comments in and say what your three are. Or I like your two of yours, but I don't like the third one. So anyway, this is just I'm trying to kick this off because I'd like to make a difference, and I would like you to help me make a difference, and I'd like you to make a difference on this. What I want from the Democrats is to reduce wealth inequality. And I have three specific wants, programs I want in place. Three changes. Number one, to reduce wealth inequality, I want a $25 an hour minimum wage over the whole nation. Yeah, this would probably hurt McDonald's, but that's okay. Number two, I want a program to build 1 million new homes each year for new home buyers. And I want anybody that's able to build modular homes that can build them at 20% below the market cost and whatever, like if they live in New York City or they live in um, wherever they live, downtown, they live in the rural suburbs of Atlanta, and the average home price is, and let's say let's pick a size for these homes. Let's say they're 1,500 square feet, which is a decent sized starter home. 1,500 square feet. And they have to be built for 20% below market for that size house in that neighborhood. And whoever can qualify to do that, whichever builder says they can do it, we tell them go ahead, and we guarantee um, the loans on these houses, the Fed does, for the first 5 years. And a new buyer to get into these homes has to put 10,000 down, and the Feds match it. The feds give them an interest rate 2% below market set for each year. You get it for the life of the loan, for the whole 20-year or 30-year loan. But the rate each year is set 2% below market. So the second year of the program might be different loan rate based on what the market is. And we pay for this by a 20% tax on profits from the big 7 companies advancing AI. The big 7 that are market, that the whole stock market right now depends on 7 companies. Those 7 companies get taxed at 20% on their profits. And that goes into a fund guaranteeing the loans and subsidizing the interest rate. So if you're a new home buyer, $10,000 down, they've got to come up with it. And the feds will match that. The interest rate will be 2% below market for that year. There'll be modular homes built in a factory. And individual cities will be asked to provide low-cost land to make this possible. The feds will guarantee the loans for the first 5 years in case somebody defaults on them. And will pay for it a 20% tax on profits from the big 7 AI companies. So we got 2 programs so far that I want from Democrats, and I'll vote for you if you do this. 25%, $25 an hour minimum wage. 2, build 1 million homes per year for new home buyers with the special program I've already outlined. And item number 3 that I want is I want a cap on medical expenses of $10,000 a year or 10% of one's income, whichever is bigger. Like if I make $100,000 a year, I've got to pay for the first $10,000 of medical bills. And I can do that by having an insurance program that, I pay so much, and then maybe I pay, premium of $3,000 and I'm insured for $7,000. But one way or another, I have to arrange for the first $10,000. And above that, federal government pays for it. And the way they pay for it is they give tax credit that's paid quarterly until the balance of the health bill is paid. So let's say I make $100,000, and I have to normally pay $20,000 tax a year. Well, I would pay my $10,000 health. Let's say I get cancer, and believe me, cancer bill can run up over $10,000 real quick. So I have to either have insurance that pays for the first $10,000, or I pay for the first $10,000 out of my pocket, whichever way I want to do it. But once I've paid for that $10,000, or I've taken out a loan to pay for that $10,000, the government looks at the income tax that I'm going to be paying this year, and let's say it's $20,000. Let's say the whole medical bill is $50,000. Well, they would say, well, you owe $20,000 tax this year. We'll give you $20,000 credit on your tax bill, and that will come off of your medical. Next year, I don't have any medical bill, but I still owe the hospital. Um, 10,000 was covered, and then 20,000 uh, tax credits got paid by the federal government to the hospital, so that's 30,000. I still owe 20,000. Let's say I'm having a bad year and I'm only making 75,000. Well, let's say I owe $10,000 tax. Well, they'll take that 10,000 tax I owe and apply it to my medical bill. So now that makes a total of 40,000 I've paid, and I still owe 10,000 more, which will be moved into the future. Um, and I'll be given a $10,000 credit uh, the next year, which will be 3 years from now. Okay, and why I think this will work. One, I think people are poor because they aren't paid well enough. While rich people get paid, $1 billion a month, poor people, if you get, let's say you get $20 an hour, which isn't enough. That's only about 40,000 a year, which is really tough to live on. 25,000 is 50,000 a year, give or take a little. You can live on that. Can't get rich on that, but you can live on it. Then what most young people can't do anymore is buy a house. So we're going to do this new program for houses that if they can come up with 10,000 down, they can get themselves into a house. Maybe we expand this program the second year to a couple of million homes. We get this thing going about modular homes, and state and local governments contributing land for this program, and the Fed matching a $10,000 down and guaranteeing a loan that's 2% below the market rate for homeowner loans. That increases the supply of homes and drives the whole cost of the home market down, which is not good for us old guys that already have our homes, but we've had enough. I mean, I think us old people, we've been taken care of, and I think it's time to move programs that help the young people. I think first thing they need is a decent pay rate, help with getting into their first home, and then number three, we can't have people's whole wealth wiped out by medical bills. Um, my late wife had cancer, and I went through. Uh, I pretty much, I think I had $400,000 at the time. I pretty much went through that because the medical insurance kept not paying. It was supposed to be, I pay the first 20,000 and then they paid the rest. They kept the fine print said on covered expenses. Well, a lot of expenses weren't covered because I'd have to go out of my area to get certain medical, uh, like it'd be some MRI or something, and there wouldn't be an MRI. Uh, some doctor that would take her that do an MRI in my area, so they sent me somewhere else, and I'd get that done, and they'd say, "Guess what? You're out of area." Whatever. Insurance companies always come up with a bunch of crap reasons they don't pay. That's just, if you haven't experienced in that, you've been one very lucky person. So, Democrats, you want my vote? You have to do something significant. And I want you to do something significant for reducing um, wealth inequality. And I don't think these are unreasonable. Higher wages, homes for first time buyers, and a cap on medical bills at 10,000 or 10% of someone's income. I don't think that's going to break the federal bank, and I don't think these ideas are radical. Now, if you're a listener and you think I've missed the boat and you think something else, one of these should be knocked out and we should ask for something else. And then I want to, you know, if this, if we can get some momentum behind this, um, I think a national movement to ask for specifics, three specific things is next time, the next presidential election, and we get these things. If the Republicans want to join in, fine, but I don't see the Republicans wanting to help reduce wealth inequality. I just don't think Republicans are into that. I think they want to increase wealth inequality based on their past actions. So, anyway, I'm looking for a Democrat that wants to reduce wealth inequality, and these are my three ideas. This is the ancient Texan with some practical stuff. Have a good one. Namaste.